So you can actually, so we're gonna try to show that this is a conversation.
Okay.
But since I didn't have time to memorize the question,
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's okay.
I
Of
have to
course.
read them. So this is part three of our visit in Alan Hoon's performance by Theater
Yeah,
Studio.
correct.
And in part three, we're going to be asking him about Q&As, about Singapore cycling and other stuff. So hopefully that you can learn from this Q&A and you can learn more from Alan as well. So Alan, I would like to start the question with, can you just share with us, based from your understanding, the history of cycling in Singapore and how pandemic actually changed it in the past few, probably 2 years?
Okay. So basically, cycling was big, but not as big as now. Because the pandemic, people couldn't travel. They couldn't, okay, some can't run, some can't swim. The only best thing is cycle. So they will get their hands on a bike if they can. So the second-hand market was crazy. There was no bikes. Decathlon has no bikes. Yeah, so it peaked. It just went crazy. And yeah, it was overwhelmed. And during COVID, the road was clear. So cyclists enjoy cycling on the road because there's no cars.
It is, yes.
Yes. So then the government started to build more PCN to allow them to ride safely. Yeah, but the COVID peaked the whole cycling industry.
I think it actually impacted globally as well.
Yes.
Which is good. I think it created a positive outcome as well. Like while we're trying to survive COVID, some people like you, us, and the rest of the bikers are trying to figure out how to fight it by becoming healthy.
Yes.
Cool. Now, question number two that we have is somewhat related to this. Like, how did you start this bike fitting industry and what motivated you to invest more, especially this studio right now in time?
Okay. So basically, I'm a personal trainer by trade. So I've been in a training in the health industry for 28 to 29 years. I was getting tired actually because it was getting boring. So I'm a cyclist. I've been cycling for more than 10 over years. I enjoy cycling. Just that I was looking into, is it viable to do a bike business? Because this is a traditional business, means it has overhead, you have staffing, you have all this that you need to pay every month. So I started very small and I realized I like it. And in 3 years, I grew, I moved 4 times. From about 300 square feet, I moved to 2,800 square feet. I realized fitting is not just about me, it's about my client. It's about a lifestyle. When the person walk in, what he want to see is not just a fitting studio. They want to see things that they don't see outside. And comfort is the most important thing. When they walk in, they want to see, wow, okay, this is huge. And this is nice. And I'm very comfortable. And then my job is done. Means besides fitting them, I make sure they are comfortable.
Indeed. Actually, it's my first time to visit your studio. I think your sofa is my favorite sofa.
Yes.
So the second time I go, I'm gonna be there.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So, I think the question number 3 is somewhat related, and you mentioned it a while ago as well. So basically, it is, why did you get into this business? Which you mentioned you are a personal trainer, and the background is what you mentioned as well, that you've been cycling for around 10 years now. So I think you've answered question number 3 with question number 2. Now, the fourth one is, since you've been meeting a lot of bikers in Singapore, not only Singaporeans, like other nationalities as well, can you just give us like an idea, what are the common backgrounds of these bikers or cyclists, and what's the mentality? So that we will have an idea, like what's the mentality of the bikers in Singapore compared against other locations?
Okay, so mainly most of our cyclists are amateurs, like me. We just want to ride, to have fun, to stay healthy. So it's just to have fun, and yeah. So everybody has a job, and they have a job and they buy the bicycle and just ride. So this is the background of the cyclists in Singapore, and most of them are usually doing mid to long distance. They're not those that are into criteriums, into racing. Most of my clients don't even race. They just want comfort and they just want to ride with their friends, want to enjoy, want to look good, want to have a nice bike. So this is the trend in Singapore. They are willing to buy a nice bike. They are willing to spend and be healthy. So yeah, this is the cyclists in Singapore. I feel that we have, which is a good thing.
And actually, you're right. It's not common to see the criteria in Singapore, and we are lucky to have this tomorrow. I think
Yes.
it's going to be the criteria.
Yes.
Cool. Now, my next question would be, how has cycling grown and affected your craft?
Okay. You mean my job?
Yes.
Okay. So I will say this is a good thing because the spike of cycling has good and bad. Bad means it brought a lot of pain to a lot of cyclists. So then they come to me. Okay, so I would say when you have more cyclists, word of mouth will spread. Like, okay, what I do, and how do people solve these issues of pain? And when they look online, then they will find, there are a profession called bike fitters, and they will look out and look for them to solve their pain. So having more cyclists definitely, spike up my job.
I think we got like final 3 questions.
Okay.
So there is a question from Coach. I think you did mention this during our first meetup. Like, is there a market space for Allen's, bike fitters, your studio, and Coach CRZ to collaborate in the future?
Yes, of course. Like I mentioned before, what I do fitting is indoor. So it's control. I would say it's 90% control environment. But when you cycle outside, it's not control. You are exposed to the elements of climbs, downhill, handling, pedaling.
Wind.
Yes. Yeah. So all this biomechanics is very important. How to ride properly is very important. So that is where there is a market for coach to come in. And if we can do this together, I think it's very powerful. The tool is very powerful.
It is.
Yes.
Because I never undergone any bike fitting, and because I only started like 11 months ago.
Oh, okay.
So I started watching him only, and then when I had a chance, I approached him because I was in the same event as him during the duathlon. Then I approached him if I can have a session with him because I was in the Philippines. Then after that, everything is just history. So when you approached Coach when we were here, he was just super surprised and happy that someone recognizes him, especially a person like you. So can you just share to us, how did you actually discover or learn about CRZ?
Okay, so part of my job is to connect and to follow fitters around the world. So he's one of them I follow, and it makes sense what he does, and he does it very casually. He doesn't tell you what is right, what is wrong. He doesn't he don't scold people online. When he coach, it's very natural. So I like the way he coach, and so I believe in biomechanic, and he is fit himself. He can talk and ride bicycle. Not everybody can do that. So the information he give me, it makes sense. So I do practice some of the stuff he posts online, and it makes sense to me. So that's why I contact him when he's in Singapore, If not, I have to fly to Philippines. So since he's here, I see whether he has time to meet me. And surprisingly, he wants to meet me, which is very nice. And I meet the whole team, which is very, very nice. To see everyone connect from like Philippines and Singapore. Of course, I don't represent the fittest in Singapore, but what I mean is he is not shy to share information and connect with people like fitters like me, and to come up with better ideas how to make the cyclists better. Yes, which is important. Yeah.
It is, and yeah, it was really a good opportunity that you met Coach, because how you see him in the videos is the same person when you talk to him. Right?
Yeah.
And it's the same person when he coaches you. There's nothing you can ask for. So, because sometimes when you see people in the video, they are different in person.
Yes.
But when I met him, that's one thing that I appreciate as well. Like how I was watching him like a few months ago is the same person who coached me.
Yes.
A few months ago as well. So yeah. And the final question that I would like to ask is, I think you did mention about biomechanics. Do you know any other biomechanic coaches like him around Asia or India?
I only know one, JJ, in Thailand. So he does all this biomechanic in Thailand. So other than that, Singapore, no, not that I know of. Maybe there is, but I didn't follow. So the closest to him will be coaches. But I don't really work with coaches. I do have a coach for my cycling team, but not somebody so detailed and do it online, and he share with you what he does online, which is a lot of them don't do that. They are very close. So that's why I know him, because he's very easy to find online, and he doesn't close. He will share information to the public, and that is where I find that it's interesting what he does, and if we can combine these things together, I think ultimately the cyclists get to gain.
Yes, it is. I think that's why he keeps on saying that cycling is for everyone.
Yes.
And that's why he normally targets beginners, newbies, because he wanted to empower all these individuals to be in the cycling. And those videos that we actually see are not staged. Some people are saying that there are like crews who shooting, like do this and do that. But when you join him, when you have opportunity to join him, right? So when you're with him, he will just switch on his 360 camera, starts coaching you, and that's it. It's real time, and that's what he's actually uploading. So that's why you will see that all his videos are raw.
Yeah.
And so that's basically how you see him in video is the same person how you.
Yeah. That's nice, because there's genuine. You don't have to stage. But of course, you can't control what people think.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
It is. So, yeah, that's very normal. And that's one thing that that I admire about him, is he doesn't talk negative stuff against other people. So he just continue. He's old. He's been in the industry for 30 years. And I think that all he wanted to do is to empower people like myself, a newbie biker, to be able to enjoy it. And I think that's it. That wraps up our Q&A, and that wraps up our visit to Alan Hoon's studio as well. Hopefully you enjoy it, and if you have more questions, we will be providing you the links of this studio so that you can connect.
Thank you.